I'm Margaret in Windsor, and I guess I can't get it on a tape, what I need to say, and I'm not sure anybody's even listening to it anyway. I was trying to show about, I was kidnapped. I didn't find out until 83, till after I was flown out at Flint's, who helped me in a political campaign to replace a doctor, congressman I'd written about. And in here, he said that I knew who was responsible for his shooting. Larry McDonald was one of the doctors, congressman, wrote about. And I wrote about mind control and programming people, modifying behavior. And Larry Flint was the one that shot him and killed his attorney, was programmed. But the thing is, after the book, I got a letter from the FBI, June the 23rd, which, by the way, is my father's birthday. I found out in the 83, and I had antifreeze put in me after then, so you can't tell it all. So I'm going to skip. I've put a lot on videos, Facebook. The media already knew it. I've taken all this over and over to the media. I've used my money when I could have money. And I ran in the campaign and was pitched down the side of the road. Flint furnished me a car for a year, and he went to prison. He was the one that freedom of speech and took it into the Supreme Court. And Jerry Falwell, Mr. Flint, when I was out there in October of 83 during the campaign, he showed me the galley proofs to the parody, which parody and satire are close. They get confused at times. The meaning's so similar. But anyway, the parody was about Jerry Falwell, Reverend from Liberty University, Lynchburg. And lo and behold, I end up coming here, living on the Appalachian Trail, starving. And it's a story in itself, the hell. I don't know where my sons are, who are heirs after me. 99 years seal put on it. This is my dad. My mom's Claudia Ruth O'Keefe. I'll say it again. Sisters of Georgia, American. My mom was a school teacher. This woman, Wallace Simpson, this is a double. It is so horrific how they covered up all this and made up sheer lies. They gave me the name of a twin, Peggy and Dempsey Childers. I married a Childers. And that's the twin Carl. Both of them were killed by their mother. They even had different dates and had to, which is illegal, inserted it. And the birth certificate marks it. This is the family. That's me. So what I was telling about, my uncle George was the one that helped take down my father illegally, put 99 years seal on it. And this is Roosevelt. He sent Joe Kennedy, ambassador to England, good old Irish from Boston, right? I hope the world has to see and hear and experience the pain and suffering these people have caused. It is so sick. Anyway, Elizabeth and he are illegal. And what I wanted to, and by the way, I did want to say this, the Oklahoma City bombing, Timothy McVeigh was a vet. And he always told people that the Army implanted him with a chip of his buttocks. So he was programmed. And there's some other things prove that. This is by Tex Mars, I believe, Project Lucid, about biochips. What I was telling about, this is a double. This is Wallace Simpson in the double. You can't really see it. I was Googling it. And it's what ties all this together. This is Victor Rothschild. They helped in my kidnapping, and the Duke of Kent. And they're talking about the two of them, the Duke of Kent, and he's probably, I think Elizabeth has set him up in Edinburgh or Kensington Palace. Well, I've lived on the side of the road up on the Appalachian Trail, starving and freezing. This is the current Lord Rothschilds and the current Duke of Kent, Britain's top Freemasons. They have kidnapped me. Part of my own family did. But Wallace Simpson, that's where I was going with Googling. I came, it's so many lies, but that part's true. But Wallace Simpson, what I was looking at, Wallace Simpson What do I do with that if I can get it on here? This is a picture of me growing up. My kids, Mark and Scott, and I don't know where they are. It was after me because we were born. I started going back because the mind control murders were done in patterns, and you can't prove it. The agency that's doing it deliberately did it because there's a lot of mind control murders that happen. How do you prove it? MK Ultra, you can Google it, and I know the CIA, the FBI, and all of them are real powerful. I have to wonder about some of this, though. When I found out my real name and was doing the book and about the patterns, I go back to, I don't have his picture out, but who would have been a cousin to the twin, the name that was given me and I grew up was George Washington. I won't say his last name, as in George Washington, who helped steal this from Great Britain. That's plain and simple what it is. And so it's a name. Then came Philip. He was brought there. And I thought he was a half-brother. He was born, or so they said, 5 years later and brought there. And he was a good kid. He's retired from one of the agencies. So they got him. There's a story behind that. But anyway, these are my words, not his, all right? But his name was Philip. So then you got Elizabeth, who's illegal, living in my home. They have kidnapped me and keep going with all the lies and spending my money. And a traitor to Great Britain, illegal treaties. So where am I? It's so appalling to me. But I was going back, and my husband, I know now, he was CIA, and he was supposed to marry me. But I was going back in this. I was Googling Wallace Warfield Simpson that didn't marry. She was an American spy, married an imposter. By the way, they were both buried at Frogmore at Windsor Castle on the grounds there. How's that? But I was going back. My husband, as far as I know, was John Childers from Winfield, Kansas. So I was just Googling Earl Spencer because Wallace Warfield Simpson married a Spencer, and I thought maybe Spencer was, they were part of being related to Diana. Well, I went back, and Earl Spencer, his name was Earl Winfield Spencer, and it gets like this throughout this whole thing. He was from, of all places, Kinsley, Kansas, and then it goes over here, and one of the people that was related here to that Spencer that Wallace married was part of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. What was his name? Arthur William Radford, Vice Admiral. So I don't know. It gets into just one big mess, and you have to wonder about the whole thing. You've got twins showing up in like Peggy and Carl, but it gets to be too much, and somebody will probably tune me out. I won't go on with it because it is such a mess, and it leaves me babbling. Like Larry or Lawrence Flint or Larry or Lawrence McDonald. They took me to Lawrence County, Alabama, Moulton, when they kidnapped me. Montgomery, they did murders using Montgomery, as in Montgomery, Alabama, where the birth certificates are from. Like next door to me, I end up here in Roanoke, and next to me is Virginia Tech, Montgomery County. That's where so many of these murders have happened, mind control murders. They've happened all over and way back. God knows how many. These were done in patterns, like the 33 that were shot in the shootings there. April the 16th of '07, and that's when Elizabeth was paid to come through here by the state of Virginia. It's a Commonwealth state, and she went right past here while I'm living on the mountain, the real monarch, Victoria II, starving, freezing, and then I hear this bit about Andrew. I'm not going to call him Prince. The whole bunch of them are illegal, should be locked up. And I hear about they've got this suit against him for, I don't know if he raped or what the suit's all about. But anyway, Elizabeth